this to give the all's clear?
Demete is a fine boat, no doubt.
Something ripped apart the animals.
All the livestock? This looks like a bite. Evil is on board.
Our blood. Useless.
He's coming! I want to kill the cursed thing.
He is on this ship.
Good day to all. You're very welcome and I appreciate you stopping by the Caption Media channel. Let's discuss the horror fantasy movie The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Without revealing any surprises, I'll simply give you a review. So let's get started. Only $2.6 million was made in its opening weekend by Universal's horror movie The Last Voyage of the Demeter. In 1897, a Russian schooner was hired to transport private merchandise from Romania to England, which consisted of 50 wooden crates. It was abandoned when the ship arrived. This is the tale of the crew of the ship, which went by the name Demete, derived from the captain's log in the Dracula novel. Bragiev Schutt Jr. and Zach Olkowitz wrote the screenplay under Andrei Vriedel's direction. The seventh chapter of Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Captain's Log, which was published in 1897, is the basis for the 2023 American supernatural horror movie The Last Voyage of the Demeter. On August 11th, 2023, Universal Pictures presented the movie in theatres across the country. The Last Voyage of the Demeter immerses us in a 2-hour depiction of the seventh chapter of Bram Stoker's Dracula, The Captain's Log, with an amazing and painstaking attention to detail. The only redeemable elements of this adaptation are Bear McCreary's stirring music and the useful sets and makeup. The movie lacks the sense of dread and claustrophobia that comes from being stranded on a ship in the middle of the ocean with a hazardous creature inside while having a realistic set. The movie becomes monotonous and bland after 2 hours. Any attempt to elicit an emotional response from the audience or establish a connection with them is thwarted by the character's writing and performance. Only Liam Cunningham's portrayal as the captain stands out. He is the only one who is able to give his character that tinge of feeling, melancholy and despair at the most difficult parts of the movie. Although Dracula, the major antagonist, receives minimal screen time, he is unable to frighten even when the full scope of his power is shown. Some villains can leave an impression and stick in viewers' minds with little to no screen time. This is not the case with this Dracula, who never develops an air of authority and is not scary. This movie had the potential to be a strong adaptation, but it ended up being another mediocre one. Demete is an unsurprisingly traditional horror movie featuring essentially a haunted house on the water and uninteresting characters. For the majority of its 2 hours, the movie stays afloat, mainly thanks to a solid ensemble full of well-known personalities and an eye-popping production design by Edward Thomas, but the writing ultimately sinks the film. It creates a classic fright fest since it's built on suspense and anxiety. It's a touch heavy-handed in its closing moments as it sets up a sequel. On paper, this sounds terrible and fascinating, but sadly, it fails to live up to expectations due to a number of errors, including not making Dracula intriguing and terrifying enough. Overall, The Last Voyage of the Demeter should please horror aficionados who are brought up on Boris Karloff and Bela Lugosi, and it also offers an R-rated dose of vampiric brutality for fans of the genre who have a deeper bloodlust. A lean and mean interpretation of this chapter from the classic novel by Bram Stoker is almost redeemed by the exquisite atmosphere and production design, but unfortunately, instead of being seductive and menacing, Dracula is a monster and a supernaturally terrible vampire, and for a crew attempting to survive at sea, it places them in a terrible situation. The increasingly claustrophobic, bleak drama set at sea is grounded by rich world building, astounding scope, dedication to actual effects, and fully realised characters. The script could use a lot more strength, though. Although Norwegian filmmaker Andre Verdal uses attractive production design on the ship, Demete never feels anything other than a tragic journey. The picture initially has some gruesome fun with its close quarters terror, but there's thin psychological depth and weak emotional undertones. Despite the fact that Verdal didn't entirely redefine vampire cinema, he did produce something distinctive that was inspired by a novel that was published more than a century ago, and that deserves to be recognised. The cast quietly enters their realisation of doom, demonstrating how well Verdal can maintain a mood. But because everyone on board is ready to die, much like in a gothic at sea slasher thriller, the film lacks suspense despite sticking largely to the original story. While Andre Verdal's palette is gloomy and murky, and it's frequently difficult to tell who is doing what to whom, he makes some horrifying decisions that will leave you shattered, and he defies conventional horror movie cliches. The film features some excellent technical qualities, superb lighting. It's a wonderful idea that unfortunately has few surprises. The plot is convoluted, and the cinematography is hazy. The film has a frequently arresting interpretation of the story that more than makes up for its lack of surprise with aesthetics and a few indisputably powerful scares. It's incredibly well made and atmospheric, but unfortunately it pits our fanged nightmare against a cast full of brainless short-sightedness. And this floating craft will never be able to sail at all because of that one crucial component. The title, Last Voyage of the Demete, reveals the resolution. That's advantageous if you just want to witness the crew of the ship being eliminated one by one while being warned by frightening music. Avoid it if that's not something you would enjoy. This claustrophobic chiller is boosted by a great cast and high production qualities, but because we know the outcome, part of its impact is diminished. Perhaps the movie's most important asset is Hawkins, who propels it beyond its limited possibilities. But despite some genuine thrills and gut-punching gore, The Last Voyage of the Demete fails to generate any more excitement beyond what is being presented on the page. The film never feels anything other than a doomed journey, despite Andre Verdal's outstanding production design on board the ship. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'll give this movie a 5 and hope that you like it. If you disagree with me and the film was very enjoyable to you and you thought it was a great movie, please do leave a comment below. If you want more updates, please do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click the bell button. Right, I'm off now and I'll see you all again shortly. Take care. Bye for now.
Let me show you the ship. This here is Huckleberry. Give the yaws clear.
Demete is a fine boat, no doubt. Search the ship everywhere. Evil is on board. Kill the cursed thing. May God have mercy on us all.